Let us solve the exercise number 3 in the part B of Python lab. In this exercise, we are supposed to create a graphical user interface to input the principal amount. Let me just show you that. So the principal amount, the rate of interest, and number of years. And then we are supposed to calculate the compound interest. And this graphical user interface must have a button called submit. When it is pressed, the compound interest should be displayed in the text box. Also, there must be one more button called clear button. When such a button is clicked, all the content which are there in the text boxes, that are the principal amount, rate, and the number of years, they should be cleared. So let's go ahead and let's create the application. I'm going to go to the VS Code and I will first select my folder. So click on the file and open the appropriate folder where you have to save the file, and just select the folder. And if you look at here, you will notice that all the programs that you have created will be listed here. So let me click on this new file, and I'm going to say this is part B and 3. So let me type py after that and press enter, and let me click it here again. So close it. Now, in order to use the GUI, we need the Tkinter. So I'm going to import all the classes which are there in the Tkinter. So I'm going to say from Tkinter, and I'm going to import everything. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's create the first. We'll create the main window that will contain all the content. So let me create the main window. So I'm going to say, I will call that as a root. Root is the TK. And I'm going just to create that. And let me give this root some dimension. So I'm going to say the geometry of this will be, say, let me say 300 cross 200. So this will be the geometry of this one. Let me give the title for this one. So I'm going to say title of this will be, so I'm going to say compound interest. So let's say compound interest. Okay. So that being done, let's go to the, and we are supposed to do many things here. So I'm going to go to the root and I'm going to say main loop. So without this, you know very well, things will not work. So let me just save it by pressing Control ES, and I'm going to just run this one just to show you how is it going to appear. So what I have is what is that? Just cross verify. Okay, try it one more time. Okay, I think that it was not something has to do with the visual code. It is not my mistake. So this is what you're going to get it. So here in this GUI, I'm going to put all the labels. Like what is that we are supposed to do is we are supposed to get this what is it, principal amount, rate of interest, and number of years. So this and then the other. So first I'm going to put just the labels like the principal amount, the rate, the number of years, and then, and in front of it I'm going to put the text boxes. And definitely here I'm going to put 2 buttons so that the things let's go ahead and let's complete that part. So I will start with the label. I'm going to just call the label as LB1. That's the first label. And the label that I'm going to create definitely is attached to the root. And the text that I'm going to show in this label is, first of all, I'm going to type principal, okay, maybe like this. and I will select this one. You can use like this, Control C to copy it and Control V to paste it. So I need 4 labels. I'm going to just paste 4 of them, and I will fix one after the other. So Control V to paste, you know very well. Okay, the second label is the, what is it? We are supposed to take a principal rate and time. So the next label will be the time. So this is what we are supposed to do it. And the final label, label number 4, let me just put it here. Label number 4 will be just it here. And that's the one that's going to show the compound interest, and we are supposed to calculate the compound interest. So I'm going to just say compound interest for this label. Now I'm going to fix them. Now, if I just run it, it's not going to do any needful thing. Now I'm going to place them in a grid. So you know what is the meaning of saying grid. Grid contains rows and columns. So I'm going to keep them in the row number. So we start with the row number 1. So I'm going to just start with the row number 1. And you know very well the column number, almost all programming languages, the first column is column with the index 0. Second one will be the column with the index number 1. So you will keep, this is the row number 0. I'm going to keep the first label, this label, that principal label. I'm going to keep it in this location. That is the row 1, column 0. I'm going to just place it there. Okay, let me do that part here. So how am I going to do that thing? So I'm going to say LB1, so label 1 dot, and I'm going to keep it in a grid. So I'm going to say grid. And I will start with the row number. So row number, right, as I told you, the row number is 1 and the column number will be 0. Okay, so if you just keep it like this, so I'm going to just keep 2 of them, and I'm going to tell you what is the problem. Just I will explain that. Let me show you, and let me then illustrate to you what is going to happen. This is going to come in the second row. So this label 2 will come in the second row. I'm going to just save it, and I'm going to tell you what is going to happen. You notice that they will come very close to each other. So I'm going to put some padding, some extra spacing, so that they appear properly. Okay, so I'm going to do that one. So how do I do that thing is I'm going to just remove this, and I'll come back to that. Okay, so I'm going to put a padding for that. Padding is, if you are wondering what is a padding is, so you have the text here. So within the text, on top of the text, you put some spaces, so that they don't touch each other. So you just make some extra space so that they don't touch each other. Otherwise, what will happen is one label will touch the other label. Now when you do this padding, what will happen is there will be some space in between, so that those labels don't touch each other. So that is what is the idea of saying padding. So let me go with the padding of 5. Okay, and for the y-axis also the padding of 5. Now if I copy this, and let me copy it now, Control C, and let me put the second label. Remember, naturally, when you have the grid like this, the first one will go in the row number 1, the second one will go in the row number 2. Okay, so that's as simple as that. Let me save it and just show you how it's going to look like now. Okay, where is it gone? Okay, let me just make it as label number 2. So this is a second label, and I'm going to just run it and just show you. Okay, so you notice that in the previous case there is now extra padding is there, so that you see some spaces, otherwise they will touch one another. So that's what I'm putting some spaces there. Okay, let me do it with the remaining part here. So let me go here. I will just paste the 4 labels here. So this one is label number 3, and this one will be label number 4. And naturally, this label number 3 in the row 3, and label number 4 in the row 4. Now, if I just touch run this one, and this is how it's going to look like. Okay, so you have in front of them, I'm going to get the text boxes. So I'm going to get the text boxes here for all of them. So let's go ahead and let's get the text boxes. And you're familiar that in order to get the text boxes, we use the entry. So I'm going to say principal field. If you want a principal T for a principal text box, it's up to you. They usually call it as entry field. So they use the word field rather than text box or other thing. That's why I'm using PF. Any variable, you can just create X as the variable, but I will use the variable PF for the entry field. So I'm going to use the entry. You have text also. See, there are two options are there. Either use the entry or there is one other called as a text. So both of them will create the text box for that matter. So let's start with the first one. So this is root, and I'm going to just copy it. I need four such things. So I'll just paste them first. Control C and Control V. The second one is for the rate. The third one is for the time. And the fourth one is for the compound interest, CF. Press escape if it is coming on in your way. So just if you press escape, whatever the options that were coming will vanish. Now after this, we have to again remember this thing has to be again put in the grid. So you already, let me just run it and just show you. Now these things which I've created has to come here. So this, so what is the meaning of that is all these things are in the column number 0. So this is column number 0. All the others will come in the column number 1. And this is again row number 1, row number 2, 3, 4, and so on. So let's put the grid for that. I'm going to just copy one of them, Control C from here, and I'm going to just paste it here, Control B. And the only thing that I have to do is I have to change this label for to EF. And some changes. This is the row number 1 and column number 1. So this for all the previous one, it is column number 0, and the row numbers are increasing. Here also row number will increase, but for the text boxes, the column will be the second column. So that's as simple as that. Let me paste it 4 times. And the second one is going to be, is it the rate, the time. And if you see, when you click here, if you get some option, just press escape. So you get like this, just press escape and it's gone. So let me just run it and just show you how is it going to appear now. I think what is happening here. Oh, so the row number I have not increased. So this is the row number 1. So here the second one is row number 2. Let me just make row number 2, not 12. Row number 2, row number 3, row number 4. So these are the row numbers are going to be same. Only this set will come in the column 0. The other set will come in the column number 1. So let me just run it and just show you. Again, what is happening? I think I have not saved it. File and just save it. Then just run it. Okay, so it's done. It's done. So you notice that all these things, let me just show you. All these things are in the column 0. Okay, you notice all these things are in the column, where is the column? Column number 1. And definitely these row number 1, row number 2, 3, 4, all these are there. As usual, they are there. Okay, let's go ahead and let's do the other part. What we need now is I need 2 buttons. So I'm going to put 2 buttons, one button here and the other button on the other side. So which are the buttons that they have set? In the question, they have said that when you click on a button called as submit, you're supposed to calculate the compound interest. And when you click on a button called as a clear, you're supposed to clear all of them. So there are 2 buttons names are already mentioned there. So I'm going to use whatever names that they have given. So let me call this one as BTN1. So this is button 1. And let me create the button. How do you create this button? So button is equal to that. Okay. And naturally this is attached to the root. And let's give the text for this button. So what is the text they have already given? First button is the submit button, and the remaining part I will take care of it later. So this is the button number 2. I think there is no need to waste time on this one. So this is button number 2, and the second button was clear button. So this is done. As usual, you need to add them to the grid now. So let me show what is that we are supposed to do. Remember, we have to get this button, first button in the column 0. the second button in the column 1, but the row number must be the one next to this. The last row number is row number 4, so they must come in the row number 5. So this is what you are supposed to do it. So I'm going to just copy it, Control C and Control V here. Done. And this is BTN1, button 1. And this will be next to row number 4. The next row number will be row number 5. And the column will be 0. Remember, this will come in the column 0. Second one, let's do it, Control C and Control V. Second one, let's see, button number 2. This is the row number is same, but the column number is 5. So fifth column in the second thing. So let me just save it, Control C to save it, run it, and you see to get like this. If you want to reduce the still the spaces, you can do it, but I'm 100% sure that during the examination, if there is some extra space here or extra space on the other side, the external examiners will not mind that. Okay, so they won't check for that kind of thing. So how am I going to change this one? You just reduce this thing, and maybe you make it as a 280 width as maybe 200 and what is this, 280, and maybe the height as 180. I'm just trying this. I will not waste my time surely with the arrangement like this. It may come closer to that. Yeah, but I don't think so anybody will object for that. If the geometry is slightly larger also, nobody will object. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's do the calculation. Now what is that I am supposed to do is, when I'm going to click on this clear button, let's look at this part, clear button, whatever that is typed over here has to be cleared. So whatever you are typing here, you're not supposed to type here, but whatever you are typing here, because they said text box. What is this? They said it is a text box here. Where is that thing gone? Okay, so I put the text box there. They said that it is a compound interest should be displayed in a text box. So I have put the text box. Otherwise, I would have put a label there. But anyhow, so when you click on clear, all these things must be cleared. So let me write a function that's going to do the needful things. I'm going to go at the top, and I'm going to create a function. So let me say a function. And what function you can say? Clear all. What else you can say? That function you can't get something better than that. So that is the function that you can think of using. So let's go ahead and let's write the function. What is that you're supposed to do? So all these things, let me just pass it first, and then try. So all these fields are there. What are the names of these fields? We have given PF, RF, TF, and CF. All these fields are there. All these PF, TF, RF, and all of them has to be clear. So how do you clear them? Okay. So to clear them, let's go with the first field, PF, and I'm going to say delete the content starting from 0 till the end. So whatever you have typed in that field, so let me just run it once. So whatever you have typed starting from the beginning till whatever that is typed, you clear everything starting from the 0 till the end. So this means to say that we run it. Starting from the 0th location, that is the 0th index position, whatever that is typed up till the end, all the things has to be cleared. So that has to be done with all the remaining one also. Let me Control C and press Control V. I'm going to paste it 4 times. Second one is first one is what is this? PF, RF, TF, and CF. So PF, RF, and TF, press escape if it is coming on in your way, and CF. Again, press escape if it is coming on your way. And now I have to connect this thing with my button. So where is my button? So my button, second button is that clear button. So I'm going to associate it with the command. And what is the name of the command? Name of the command is clear all. So that is the name of the command. Let me run it and let's see whether the things are working. So I will type something. It may not be a number. And when I say clear, it is clear. Okay, all are clear. So this is working. So if you type number, so you as a good student, you will type some number. You will not type the number here because it will be calculated. But if you clear it, everything has to go. That is done. Now our next challenge is the actual task of calculating the compound interest. So I'm going to say create a function, and I'm going to say compute compound interest. You can give any name to your function. So compute compound interest. How do you compute the compound interest? Let me first pass it. We'll just run it. So first thing, whatever that is typed here, so principal amount, rate, and time, whatever it is typed here, that has to be taken into the program. So let's first get all of them. So we start with the principal amount. I'll take it as P. So I will say P, and I'm going to say PF dot get. So get whatever that is typed, you get it. Now I will convert it into a floating point number, because principal amount can be a floating point number. So assuming that it is a floating point number, so I'll convert it into float. The same thing I'm going to do it for the rate and the thing, but not the compound. Remember, compound interest, you are supposed to calculate it. So this is rate and time. So for the rate, this is R, and this one is R, and for the time I will take it as T, and this one I'm going to take T. So what I have done with this, what I have done is, if I just run it, what I've done is whatever the values that are typed here, suppose somebody types 1000 here, and the rate of interest is 10 for 1 year, all these things are given to the program. So I get all of them into my program. Now I'm supposed to calculate the compound interest. How do you calculate the compound interest? If you look at, if you Google it for compound interest, this is the formula. So the formula is the total amount is the principal amount 1 plus 1 over r into n into t, where n is the number of times the interest is calculated. Now I assume that number of times the interest is calculated is 1. So n is equal to 1. So if you just keep n is equal to 1, so this is going to become p into 1 plus r to the power t. This is the formula I'm going to use it. Now, as I've told you before, now what one thing I assume, this is the assumption. See, when I run the code, suppose if 1000 rupees is the principal amount, and if I say 10%, 10 means I assume 10%. So you can write like this, or some people will write what is 10%? 10 by 100. Okay, what is 10 by 100? 0.1. You can write 0.1, but I assume that nobody will type like this. People will just type 10%, 20%, 30%, or 35%, whatever it is. So they will type it here. So this number, whatever it is there, has to be converted into fraction. How do you do that? 35 means 35%. How do you get the 35%? 35 divided by 100. So whatever value that I get rate, so whatever is the rate, rate by 100. I'm going to do rate by 100. So in this formula, even though I'm not going to take n here, because I assume that number of times the interest calculated is 1. So this is 1, but I will divide this r by 100, make it the percentage. So r by 100 I'm going to do it. So this I'm doing it to convert it into percentage. Let me go ahead, let me close this, and let's come back to the story here. So where were we? We were here. Let's calculate the compound interest. I'm going to say this one is the amount. So this is what they said. What is this? They said is the amount A. Okay, A is the amount. So let me calculate the amount. Amount is, so what is the formula that you're going to use is P into 1 plus R to the power T. Okay, so this is the formula, but I've already told you I will divide R by 100. So this is what I'm going to do. So I will divide R by 100, or you can multiply it into 0.01. It is one and the same. So I will divide by 100. Okay, so R by 100. So that is done. I think this 2 is required. Let's go ahead with that. I think that is not required. Okay, R by 100, because it is not it's a numerical value. Done with that. Okay. If it is giving trouble, I will fix that double slash double slash. Done. I have calculated the thing. Now, one thing you must understand is this is not the interest. This is the amount that you are going to get. So, what is the meaning of that? Is suppose if you invest 100 rupees today, 1,000 rupees today, and for 1 year at the rate of 10%. Okay, so just say, and just assume that I have done the calculation, and you have got 1,100 rupees after 1 year. So you started with the principal amount of 1,000 rupees, and you got after 1 year you got 1,100. So this is the amount you got. What is the interest that you have got? Interest that you got is 100 rupees. So in the program, what is asked is get the compound interest. So I'm going to subtract that amount. This is going to give you the amount at the end. I will subtract the 1,000, that is 110 by that. So I will subtract this amount by the original principal amount. So whatever after calculation I get this amount, okay, and I will subtract the principal amount from that to get the compound interest. So let's go ahead and let's calculate that part. So what is the compound interest? Let me call it as CI. CI is the amount whatever you got using this formula, okay, minus principal amount. So this is what I'm going to do it. So you got it. Now let's now what is that I'm supposed to do is I did all the calculation. Now I got the compound interest. I am supposed to show that compound interest in this field. So let's go to that field. And what is the name of that field? You know very well that field is CF field. So let's go to this CF field. CF field, and I'm going to clear everything first before I insert everything. First, let me delete. If any previous results are there, I'm going to delete it. From 0 till the end, I'm going to delete it. Okay, so done. And then I'm going to go to the CF and I'm going to insert. So maybe insert at a slightly higher position, and I'm going to use the CI. Now I'm going to just show this one. Let's say CI. And one thing I'm going to do it is, see, when you do the calculation, if I don't want to waste time on the video, that's why I'm doing. When you do the calculation, you may get to 23.4567889. Now nobody is interested in these parts, so I will show it only 2 decimal places. So I will do it directly here rather than showing you the output and then trying to fix it. So I will use the F string here, and within this F string I'm going to say CI. So that is I'm supposed to show it colon dot 2F. Hope you're familiar with that. So 2F is 2 decimal places, floating point, 2 decimal places. This is what I'm going to do it. So this I've done it directly without showing you. Now I have to connect this one to the first button. Where is my first button? Here. So this first button, this function, whatever I've done, compute CI, I will connect it to the first button. So I will go to the submit button here, and I'm going to say command that I'm going to use is compute CI. So done with that. Let's go ahead and let's run the program, and hope everything is proper now. So I'm going to say 1,000 rupees at 10% interest for 1 year. So if I say submit, I am getting some error here. So what is this? CI is giving me some problem here. CI, what is that? Positional argument, but 3 is given. What? Let me just check what is this one. Let me just highlight it. There is some problem with the index. Let me just show the this part first. One small mistake. This is not index. Sorry, this is insert. So I'm trying to insert it. So I don't know. I just got in between. I thought it was. I selected that. This is insert, not index. There is no point in saying index there. So I want to insert this into that field. So that into this field. So that is why it's giving me some problem. Let me save it and let me try it one more time. Sorry about that. This was. It was an index. Even when I talk, I just don't concentrate on what is going on. So let me start with the same story. 10 and 1 year, and let's submit it, and I get 100 rupees. Okay. for 2 years I may get something. Okay, I'm not very sure. So you get some value. When I clear it, it's going to clear it. This is what you're supposed to do it. Now suppose what if you're typing this whole thing. I'm going just to copy this one, Control C from here, and I will go to the, ideally click on file, new file, and I will just paste it as in that I have typed it. Let me go to the file and let me save as, and let me go to the location where I'm supposed to save it. I think it is a B exercise number. What was that exercise number? B3, I think. B3. Let me save it, and you come here and just run it. You get the same thing. So if you invest, again, I'm going to show the same result. If you invest 1,000 rupees with the 10% interest for 1 year, submit it, you get it. So clear it, it's going to go. So whether you are using ideally or whether you are using the VS Code, things won't make a difference. Thank you for your interest. We will meet again in the other exercise. Thank you.